Hello everyone and welcome to round number 5 of Grand Prix Vancouver 2016. You've got Tyler Blum at 4-0. He is up against the Pro Tour competitor next week in Atlanta, Shuhei Nakamura, representing Team Channel Fireball face-to-face games. And Marshall Sutcliffe, here we go. We are away. Tyler Blum, terrific player, Grand Prix champion and top 4 Grand Prix competitor at teams in his own right, but up against one of the greatest players in the history of the game, who opens with an on-do War Cleric, cohort ability, gain 2 life.
Interesting here, Rich. I think we've got a mirror match on our hands. 2 red-white decks look like they're going to go up against each other here. Shuhei, of course, he's one of the best limited players of all time. You know, amongst his 27 GP top 8s, that was not a typo. He's got a bunch of limited finishes in there as well, and also he's a known side drafter.
Yes.
By the way, a pair of on-do War Clerics here to start things off for Shuhei, and he's left up red mana rather conspicuously.
On-do champion, 4-3, outclasses the pair of them. 100% the ally count so far in red-white, which is
we're 3 for 3.
What you want. And is that an on-do Greathorn Shuhei's got in hand?
He does have an on-do Greathorn, but he's going to not do that. He's going to touch of the void here to get in for 4 damage and keep the pressure rolling. I think he's hoping that Tyler plays into what I believe is an outnumber in Shuhei's hand. I know that Tyler will have noted that ominous red mana because, you know, if Tyler played some 4-mana creature with 2 toughness or a 3-drop with 2 toughness or something like that, Shuhei snaps it off. Here, though, he isn't able to leave up red because he wanted to cast Touch of the Void. But the ball's definitely in Tyler Blum's court here. He needs to restabilize this board. And his 5-drop there is Expedition Raptor. And I got to say, Rich, that is depressing.
Yeah, no one wants that.
No. So it's got support too, but nothing to support onto. And it looks like Shuhei's just going to offer trades. Tyler's going to accept the trade.
So I can't remember seeing an on-do Greathorn cast in BFC. So what's going on?
Not a popular card. Probably Shuhei's, 23rd card, something along those lines.
Right. So it hasn't suddenly got miraculously better.
No. Okay. That Kozilek's Pathfinder is going to die. Probably. No, it doesn't look like Shuhei has the right mana to take care of it here. He's got a Boulder Salvo, which doesn't quite get it done on its own. He could combine it. Yeah, I like this play a lot better. Oh, this is nice, too. He's going to attack with the first striking on-do Greathorn. And now Shuhei's really signaled that he does have outnumber in his hand here to Tyler. And Tyler has to decide if he wants to trade his Kozilek's Pathfinder for the 1-drop removal spell. The truth of it is that, you can see what happens here is he plays out the Core Skyclimber pre-combat to get to 3 creatures, and then attacks with his first striker into the 5/5. He's going to let first strike damage happen, and then bang, he's going to finish it off without number. Now, Tyler will be aware of that. He will have made that decision consciously and said, look, I just can't, take 2 damage here and just let that keep happening.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's under the gun.
And he's got another Pathfinder anyway. And a Cliffside Lookout, too.
Which didn't need to surge. It just went, I'm still a 1/1 for 1.
Shuhei finally finds land number 5, but he's still facing a similar problem to the one he was before.
11 a.m. modern. Your round
Yeah,
6 pairings are
it looks like he was lining up the Seer's Lantern, but I think he has a Step Glider in his hand, and he may just want to get that down. If he plays the Seer's Lantern, he can activate his Core Skyclimber and get in for 3 damage this turn while still developing out his mana and his board. Not unreasonable at all. He really wants to find something with support. Support cards is you can end the game. You can untap, especially with like 6 mana, and the Glider's already got flying, and you give 2 other things flying or 3 other things flying, and you just kill Tyler out of nowhere. This is really interesting. What Shuhei's doing is he's lining up the combat math now to see how this is going to pan out.
20-12 ahead, but
yeah, he's
so much on the front foot.
And it does look like he's going to end up just attacking for the 3 here. He also could Boulder Salvo. It doesn't look super tempting here. So, yeah, he's just going to send his Skyclimber to the sky.
where it belongs.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, I like the sequencing here. He could have developed his board further with the 2-4 flying step glider, though, and you know that has a lot of merit to it as well. He interestingly played his land for the turn. I'll be honest, I haven't figured out why he played his land for the turn.
So 6 mana is sheer drop and awaken the Needle Spires.
He must have something expensive in his deck that he wants to set up for. That would be the reason to play. Because remember, there are landfall triggers to be had from the Ondu Greathorn here. Can't get by the Kozilek's Pathfinder at the moment anyway. So he may figure, well, I'm just going to build up something bigger down the line.
So Needle Spires becomes a 2/1 red and white elemental creature with double strike.
Yeah.
It's still a land. It's got 3 counters on. 5/4 double strike. That's quite a lot.
Wow, that's a ton.
It's a 10. Marshall.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
I mean,
Now it is interesting because it's not active right now, right? Or he has to still pay the 4 mana to make it the full
the
amount.
base 2/1. Yeah.
Now it is still 3/3 right now. So
Yes, but it is
that's
not
fine.
double strike.
Yeah.
No. That's only on the activation.
Yeah, this is kind of something you don't see that often. A creature land with +1/+1 counters on
Yeah.
it from Awaken.
Players in the 4 p.m. shield, raise your hands if you do not have backs.
And Shuhei's doing math, which is never good if you're sitting in Tyler Bloom's seat. You're like, don't do that, don't
Okay.
count.
Welcome.
He found an Expedition Raptor. Wow.
I'm
That
So
is
we're going
a
to
sweet
support
one.
here.
Yeah,
And
he
now
gets
we-
the support now.
And now we've seen Expedition Raptor at its best and worst. Because here it is. Yes, thank you. Now I get to rumble with both my guys. And on the other side, here's my lonely 2/2 fly for 5.
Oh, Shuhei is setting this up nicely. He's offered a trade here. The Ondu War Cleric is now a 3/3, so it can trade for the land on the other side. And Tyler has to consider it because he doesn't have a good block for the Greathorn at all. His best block is a chump. But Tyler may be trying to think from his perspective, look, is there a way I can activate the Spires and actually just get in and try to kill Shuhei in a turn or two? It's tough to do from this scenario, and Tyler is the one who's significantly behind on life total, so he's probably going to have to consider making that trade. It's not what he wants, though. Yeah, he's going to make the trade. He kind of just has to here. He's still going to take 3 damage in this exchange, too. And Shuhei is pretty close to finishing this thing off. Remember, he still has Boulder Salvo in his hand, too, so if they're, a good target
And one
presents
more
itself,
spell.
he can get it. Yeah,
One more spell. And there's only one spell in Tyler Bloom's hand. Also has 2 cards, but
yeah.
both
He-
action for Shuhei.
If Shuhei
There's
finds finds an untapped land, he wins. He can play the Step Glider, and he can give that would trigger the landfall, of course.
and then
on
goes
the,
1 and a white for the activation
on the
Step
Greathorn.
Glider.
Exactly, he'd have 1 extra activation available for the Ondu Greathorn, and he would attack for the victory in that scenario. So Shuhei really hoping to see a land here. It's incredibly unlikely that Shuhei dies from 17, so he feels pretty safe here. Really doesn't want to see is just one of his creatures die. That's the thing that, especially the Greathorn. But he doesn't really have much to say about it, so Core Scythe Master, sure. Bring it on. All right,
Yeah.
is this a land for Shuhei? Yes, he
It
hit it.
is.
And there's some cards that bust this up, but he's just going to go for it anyway. Give this flying attack with both.
Boom.
GG.
So Tyler Bloom there, who has a decent track record, an individual Grand Prix title in his own name, 2014, and played with the Canadian Robert Smith as part of the team that made the top 4. Robert Smith, of course, who won Grand Prix Toronto a few years ago. So
Seattle.
and that too.
Remember that? That was
Right.
my first GP that I
That's
covered.
right.
He won that.
There we go. Yeah,
I
so
remember
multiple
Robert
Grand
Smith.
Prix
Kind of a
titles.
quiet guy.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Not someone I would readily interview.
No, he's not prime interview fodder. He's just a little bit more reserved.
Interview fodder.
Yeah.
What a lovely choice of phrase, Marshall.
Thank you.
Let's move on, shall we? Sorry, Robert.
Oh, this is a Dream Crusher status here, by the
Right.
way.
So, we have just seen an Eldrazi displacer come down for BraunDuin from Team Blitz. That's who he's working with towards the Pro Tour next weekend. We've got Expedition Raptor already in. We've got a counter already on Ghostly Sentinel as a result. We've got Core Scythemaster with a counter. We've got Calastrian Nightwatch piling in. We've got a Core Bladewell. We've got a Spawnbinder Mage. Allies aplenty, my word, yes. Matt Costa, who's at 9. We've seen him before in feature match action. And he right now has a lot of blocking to do. There's a Wall of Resurgence there. Allied reinforcements in the graveyard. Smite the Monstrous already gone to take out Kozilek's Pathfinder. Witness the End has dealt with a couple of potential threats of Costa's. Costa with Jawala Avenger. He's got a 6/6 land there.
He must have awakened twice.
Yeah.
Onto it. I see he's got a Rush of Ice. He probably did, something. Oh, there it is. So the Wall of Resurgence made it a 3/3, and then the Rush of Ice, he added 3 more counters to it.
There we go.
We did it.
Thank you.
And that was a lot of catching up. I think you did a good job with that, Rich. This board state was pretty muddled when we entered it. But this Eldrazi Displacer, yuck. That is gross. And BVD just activated it targeting the 6/6 land there. So it's exiled. It comes back, tapped as a Plains.
Yeah.
He paid 3 mana and just killed a 6/6 creature with that. Yeah, I'd say this card's pretty good. I'll tell you what, Rich. We gave the Eldrazi Displacer an A on our set review.
And you're really embarrassed about the absence of the plus?
No. I think it's an A. But the truth of the matter is that the level of power that card brings to the table for 3 mana is really fantastic.
Sure. Yeah, Randy, we had one of the sealed builds. You'll get to see plenty of players building their sealeds between now and the end of the day. Won't say who, but someone was looking at Nissa, Oath of Zendikar, Voice of Zendikar, and Eldrazi Displacer. And couldn't really play, didn't look like it was going to be both of those colors. And basically what we ended up talking about was just, if you've got Nissa, Voice of Zendikar, and you've got Eldrazi Displacer, well, Nissa doesn't always say, I'm green. Eldrazi Displacer always says, I'm white, or I'm colorless. So, yeah, tremendous card. All right, so let's head on back. As you can see, Shuhei Nakamura is already down to 18 because Tyler Blum is getting aggressive.
They didn't waste any time, did they?
They did not.
4.
And it's Zadda's Commando and Core Scythemaster, but there's plenty on the other side. Here comes Core Sky Climber and Ondu War Cleric back the other way.
We got a slugfest here. This is 2 first strikers and they're attacking, which is basically going to make it so that Shuhei doesn't want to block ever, and we're going to get a race. These 2 guys are just going to bash creatures into each other. Shuhei would love to have an Alpha Protector at this point.
Yeah.
It would really shore up his board nicely.
Yeah, and if it is a race, that makes a card like Zadda's Commando much less optimal because that wants to be grindy and stall the board out and just ping a few points of damage here and there.
He shoulders to shoulders here. Wow. That's really good. Yeah, he's just going to rumble too. Wow.
Shuhei's support has been terrific.
7 damage in that 1 attack there. And, of course, he drew the card off of shoulder to shoulder. So now this is the interesting middle part of the game where Tyler and Shuhei are going to have to evaluate their hands, the board state, and the life totals to decide who's the aggressor. And it looks like they both think that they're the aggressor. One of them's wrong. We'll find out shortly who that is. In the meantime, Shuhei's at 10. A clue.
Sheer drop. No need to wait for 6. Let's just get it gone. Tyler piling back. He needs to because he's 1-0 down. Here's Seagate Wreckage. I love the art on that card. 2 colorless tap, draw a card. But you only get to do that if you've got no cards in hand. Well, Shuhei could get to that point.
He could.
Although maybe not in this game and not for a while.
He needs to find red mana. Yeah, right now he's off of red, and it's going to be hard to dump his hand without finding a mountain or 2 here. He's got 2 red cards already in his hand. Oh, Royal's Retribution. I mean, if Tyler doesn't have anything here, like...
I mean, it's the clunkiest thing in the known universe, but it's still really good.
Bad, yeah. All right, he does. He have tandem tactics.
Yep.
Okay, well, that only reduced it to a 1-for-1, Rich, so
Mhm.
not a big deal. Still,
And Shuhei is in the market for just being alive to the point where he's no longer mono white.
totally. Shuhei finds another planes. Onto Rising.
Mm-hmm. 4, Awaken, Smash.
This race has not gone well for Tyler. He had to use a combat trick and effectively his whole turn just to save his Zato commando. And now the life totals just swung dramatically in Shuhei's favor. Hey, look, twins.
Huh.
It's not going to matter. Ooh, and a mountain right off the top there for Shuhei, too.
I mean, it does matter in the sense that there's 4 power first strike there.
Is there, though?
There was. I mean, come on.
Is there, though?
I'm only saying what's there, not what's about to be not there.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just teasing you.
I know. I'm going to punch you so hard.
It's one of my few pleasures.
Ah.
Yeah, and now it's chump block time for
Yeah,
Tyler. So
Yeah, bold prediction time.
you're going to go out
Matt
on a limb here.
Matt Costa and BraunDuin.
Coming
Let's
soon.
see some more of that. Super soon. Now. Shuhei Nakamura wins 2-0 in a pretty comprehensive mauling, to be fair, of Tyler Blum. That's the first loss for Tyler here. And still plenty of time to come back into it. 4-1 in good shape. Remember, 6-3 is enough to make day 2. Doesn't put you in great shape for top 8, but plenty of money, plenty of good times to be had, plenty of pro points to be won. And honestly, Marshall, I think when we look back, like, I'm pretty sure that this year's Sydney is somewhere you're looking forward to going, right?
Oh, for
But
sure.
you've not been there before, right?
I only flew through it on the way to Melbourne a couple years ago.
Okay, so a beautiful, beautiful city. Can't wait to go there. It is, of course, the end of our season when we go there to the Pro Tour. And I think when we look back, the number of golds and silvers and maybe even platinums, they're going to be determined by people who were at 6-3 overnight at a Grand Prix and just won their last round to go from 4-1 on day 2 to 5-1 on day 2 and get a point. Huge.
Yeah.
It is going to change
I
people's
love those.
careers and lives. So
I love those days.
yeah.
You know, for us in the booth,
Right.
the tension is just all-time high.
Yeah, brilliant. So, meanwhile, not entirely surprisingly, BraunDuin leads Matt Costa by 1-0. Costa, who came in with a couple of buys, one is round 3, one is round 4, but is 1-0 down here. And BraunDuin, Team Blitz, Steve Rubin, another Platinum Pro player, played at the World Championship earlier this year in Seattle. We'll be looking to get back to PAX, Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle. First week of September, I do believe, will be the World Championship in 2016. But so much great magic to show you here. And we thank you for being part of our weekend coverage here as we head towards the Pro Tour. Pro Tour Oath of the Gatewatch in Atlanta next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Do make sure to join us. I want to, while they're sideboarding in their limited decks, I just want to turn
Looks like
attention.
by the way, some pretty
Oh,
extensive sideboarding here.
Yes,
This may be a color coming out here for Costa.
it looks very likely.
Yeah, he's boarding into red. It looks like he's maybe going to go red-white rather than white-blue, which is what we saw from him earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We know he can't take out white entirely. He has double Mundus Vanguard.
Yeah.
It's not only his best card, but he's got 2 of them. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. No, I just wanted to remind everyone at home that we're not just going to see the draft format from tomorrow at Pro Tour of the Gatewatch. We're going to see Modern. And here's a not altogether top secret piece of information for you at home. At Modern Pro Tours, when there is a small set coming out of 185 cards, and the format, Modern, has, 8,500, 9,000 cards, well, a little bit of probability math here says there aren't going to be an awful lot of cards from that small set that have a big impact in that giant format. That's the general rule.
Yeah, and I would usually expect 1-ish.
Yeah, like three is a high end.
Yeah, for sure. Just on average from a small
Yeah.
set, it's probably 1 or something.
Yeah, not this year.
No.
Oath of the Gatewatch is going to be a player in Modern. There are going to be cards all over the place. All sorts of decks want little and different niches out of Oath of the Gatewatch that we're going to see. Now, we don't want to get too deep into this. I know that Brian David Marshall is hoping tomorrow to go and watch some Modern here at Vancouver and just see what sweet decks are doing the business here in this kind of weekend before the Pro Tour. But Oath of the Gatewatch is very definitely real for the Modern Pro Tour. You will not just see them in rounds 1, 2, 3, 9, 10, 11. You are going to see cards from OGW battling not just down the stretch, but also in the top 8. And let's remember that the top 8 this time, super excited about this, especially as someone who's known the game for so long. Best 3 out of 5 again.
Yeah,
in the
all the
top
way
8,
through.
right the way. So we're going to pair up the quarterfinals. 1 and 2 will start together. You'll see the start of quarterfinal 1. You'll see game 2 of quarterfinal 2. Once we get to the point where somebody could win, then we're going to start holding matches. So you'll see all the matches determined. But it means you're going to see just as much Magic as we can cram in to a day that last time I checked was still only 24 hours long.
It's going to be sweet.
Yeah, it's going to
I know the players were really excited. You know, the pro player community when we announced the change. They really like that.
Yeah.
It also spawned some interesting discussions there too about post-sideboarded games. Are they weighted too much? Are they important? And I mean, that's just one of the things that we love about being in this community is that you get these spirited discussions about everything.
Yes.
But it's great. I wouldn't trade it.
So BBD.
So BBD won game 1 here with that Eldrazi Displacer. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yep.
I'm not surprised.
No.
Still, Costa, you know, he changed up his deck, it looks like. Let's see if he did move over into red. I'm pretty sure I saw red cards going in. Yeah,
yes.
So I'm going to take a look at Costa's sheet here while we let these guys play, and I'm going to see what he may have brought in.
Yep, I'll keep an eye on things. That's fine. So we open up with planes on both sides of the table. Costa is going to have a turn 2 play. It's a Reckless Cohort, which has to attack because there's no other ally available at the moment. Not a problem. It can't run into anything, or it shouldn't. Reckless Cohort must attack unless you control another ally. BBD added Swamp to the board and passes on turn 2. Costa seems to be like really debating over playing this third land. He does so, attacks with the Reckless Cohort, puts BBD to 18, and passes. And BBD passes again with Holdout Settlement, which is not exactly awesome at this stage. Costa does have a 4-mana play. It's a straight up paid for 3/2 Goblin Freerunner.
Yeah, that card's got menace. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really good against the start that BBD's having since he's so slow. Oh, cancel that order. Tarsnare's going to take it down.
Costa draws another Plains. He's starting to get a little bit flooded here. He's up to 6, 7 mana maybe. Shoulder to shoulder to draw a card and try and find some more action. In for 3. It's not terrible. There's a smite. You know, Costa could go quite a long distance here with this Reckless Cohort, Marshall. There's a smite that, in fact, wow, Costa's hand, he's got a Stone Fury. He has got a Touch of the Void.
And
he has got a Stone Fury. And now he's just drawn Spark Mage's Gambit. This could be a Reckless Cohort pillar to post.
Wow, that could actually
Can you imagine
happen?
this? We could be watching Magic history.
100-yard run from Reckless Cohort?
See?
Oh
Smite
my god.
In, you're at 10.
Is this really going to happen?
And I still have, and he has Brute Strength. That's the other card.
Oh.
Okay, Kozilek's Pathfinder.
5/5's not going to get it done. You said he has...
he's got Brute Strength.
Well, there's another... Oh, no, that was one of his Mundus Vanguards off the top. He's just
so here's Stone Fury. Kill it.
Oh, my god.
Put you to 7. Brute Strength, Touch of the Void. Something. Go on, Reckless Cohort. Get it done.
They will sing songs about this Reckless Cohort if it goes end to end.
Brian David Marshall threatened to kill me if I ever said rally the cohorts on camera.
Okay.
But I mean, this is the cohort that you want to rally behind.
Go
on.
Oh, no.
No.
BBD, how dare you?
Oh.
And this actually sets Costa back a lot because he's going to play his Mundus Vanguard. But, man, he's out of creatures, and he'd kill to draw a creature next turn.
I mean, he's still there, right? I mean, right now, he's dead. BBD is dead.
He can get him for
Brute Strength.
6, yeah.
6, Touch the Void.
Yeah. So if BBD taps out,
okay.
oh, that's not good news. This works really well because he can actually just rumble here if he wants.
Yeah, I don't think I've imagined any of that.
He also could spark. He can go Spark Mage's Gambit, Brute Force. If he has another mountain, then he can assemble the victory here. Now, of course, if BBD has some type of removal spell, you know, an Immolating Glare or something like that, it won't work out. So he's going to take the safer route. I like this line from Costa. There's no need to take a super high risk line here.
Yeah, and you don't Brute Strength here to put him to 1.
No,
you just sit there with your Brute Strength. Everything's fine.
Totally. Because if he's got a removal spell, he will use it here anyway. So you can just say pass priority, and he's going to use it. Now you know he doesn't have one. Right? Like the worst thing that can happen here is getting like sheer dropped or whatever, which that might be happening. I just saw BBD when they pull a land away from the rest, that sometimes means that they're going to do an Awaken spell, but we'll see. No, it's not.
It's Witness the End. So.
Interesting.
Costa, I mean, it's land and Spark Mage, right? Spark Mage's Gambit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, so that's what goes away.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, so I mean, unless BBD does something, this is over again.
You know, I wonder if Matt goes for it now. He should know that BBD does not have a removal spell in his hand, and he can effectively deny him a draw step by going for it here. I think it might be correct to do it. It feels risky, but like last turn, he would have killed the Vanguard. Yeah, he's going for it. I like that play a lot by Costa. Look, if BBD had it, he would have killed it. He had two opportunities.
Slow down for me.
Sure.
All right. Because to me, I would have just straightforwardly gone for the win that turn.
The turn before?
No, the turn that Matt did go for the win. But I would have done that pretty much unthinkingly. So just explain why he might not have done that second time. Why might he still not have looked at the gaping door and gone, I would like to walk through that?
Right. So what happened is there was an unknown card from BraunDuin in his hand. Okay, so the sequence went attack you with this 3/3. So if BBD had any of the type of spells that could kill an attacking 3/3,
Immolating Glare.
Immolating Glare is a great example. He for sure would have killed it. That would have happened.
Right.
Then he passed a turn back. Now BBD got a chance to draw a card. Right. He made Matt discard a couple of cards.
Yeah.
And he didn't have a sorcery speed answer. He would have played it. He would have for sure killed the Mundus Vanguard. So now when he passes a turn back, there's one unknown card, and Matt's thinking, what are the chances that it's an Immolating Glare or something along those lines?
Okay.
I'll let you update us here.
Yeah, so it is almost certainly not 0-0 between Shaun McLaren and Steve Riecken because we've managed to move them onto one of our overhead cameras. So this is live, but this is not 0-0. We'll get that updated for you in just a moment. As you see, Mirror and Tangler for Shaun McLaren up against McKindy Aeronaut, the 1-3 fly for 2 for Steve Riecken. And this is game 3. Awesome. So good to get that. Great to see a Pro Tour champion from Canada in feature match action. We will, of course, head back in a little bit to our main match with Matt Costa and BraunDuin heading for Game 3. But this is Game 3. McLaren 4-0, Steve Riecken 4-0.
Who do you think is going to win?
Well, it's easy to say McLaren because that's what happens most of the time.
McLaren? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. He must have heard you.
Gideon says no.
Yeah. Whoopsh. I mean, it only killed the McKindy Aeronaut, right? It's not like it's not like a blowout there. It's just 2 mana for 2 mana. But it does mean that this, he gets to keep attacking every turn here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Warden of Geometries. 2/3 Vigilant. Taps to give you C mana, colorless mana.
C, yeah, that's the shorthand for it.
Wall of Resurgence. I'd like a 3/3, please. Kind of awkward against blue-white because sweep away,
Totally
Reflector Mage.
You know, it is a May ability, and there is a world where Steven just does not do that. I think it is correct to go ahead and
yeah, in a sense, he has a
but
spare planes here. I mean, maybe he needs double at some point, but
no, I like
he's
turning
fine.
into, but it is, there are corner cases where you look and you say, you know, I'm actually not going to awake. It's not technically awaken, but, you know, awaken a land. Remember, Warden has Vigilance.
So a little block and 2 damage. It's a Deep Fathom Skulker sitting in hand for Shaun McLaren.
Is there really?
Yep. Well, not for long, though. There's Jawara Avenger. But I think we'll leave these two to it, because let's head back to the denouement of Matt Costa against BraunDuin. There you see them, and you've got Shaun McLaren on the far side there. Here's Costa against BBD. We've already got Gideon's reproach saying go away to Ondu War Cleric, and we've got Alpha Protector on one side, Spawn Biter Mage on the other. It's allies everywhere. All is right once again with the world.
Matt's going to do the free roll attack there. It wasn't an attack that he figured would get him in any damage, but it was completely riskless, so he did it anyway. That's just little things, you know, but you'll see pro players pick up those little tiny edges because just occasionally somebody will be like, no blocks, and you get in a free point of damage.
Goblin Freerunner coming out as a 3/2 menace, as it always does, but this time at the full cost of 4.
Yeah, Matt hasn't really had a lot of luck with sequencing it out so that he could get the surge cost for the free runner, but whatever. It's still okay as a 4-drop if you have to do it.
Core Scythe Master 3/1 and first strike when it attacks. I like this card. I like this card a lot. Bonds of Brutality. Just can't block, and when it's dealing damage, well, I'm going to say
I like it. It looks really good here, too.
Yeah. Visions of Brutality, of course.
Uh-oh, here it is, turn 5.
Yeah.
This is big business here. This is Munda's Vanguard.
1 of 2 in Matt Costa's deck.
And all of a sudden, when you're BraunDuin and you're untapping here, now you're saying, crap, I either have to kill that thing, and if I look at my hand and I can't, now I have to try to put as much heat as I possibly can on Costa. And that's a tall order. I mean, he might just not have the draw to do that, you know? He's got a lot of lands.
It's still 2020. The one advantage he does have over Costa's round 3 opponent is that he is in colors with some decent removal sitting around.
He has here's some attacks.
Expedition Route says, let's put 2 counters.
This is probably going to get him in for 7 damage. You know, Costa's not in the business of blocking here.
Nope. One that he cannot and one that he will not.
Exactly. Huh. Another free runner there off the top for Costa, it looked like. Well, you know, I got to say, you know, Costa said, look, this is on you. You got to make things happen. And he kind of did. BBD, you know, put up a really nice little force here with that Expedition Raptor.
Shoulder to shoulder.
That's how you do it.
And there we go. Another free runner.
This time, of course, it only costs him 2 mana. No, this is interesting because both decks are kind of firing on all cylinders here. We just get to see the best of the best and who ends up being, you know, either a little more ahead to force the damage through. And
thing is, though, I mean, the window's closing on BBD right now because Munda's Vanguard, if we checked in with this game 4 turns from now and nothing a ton had changed, then the thing that had changed would be Matt Costa's guys were all a lot bigger. So BBD does actually, like, the 13 life points need to get dealt with and soon. Because we sort of reckon the Munda's Vanguard, we reckon the tipping point's round about the 2nd activation on most boards. One is merely, yeah, that's good. And the second is like, oh, wow.
Zulaport Chain Mage for BBD.
You know, and look,
Not
here's
really going to get it done.
No, that's just it, you know.
I think that only has 1 on it. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
And this one should have 2 because they got shoulder to shouldered from before. So there's 1 activation, but also the shoulder to shoulder. So I'm curious when Costa starts attacking. It could be as early as next turn. He might even have a few attacks now.
Yeah, he got a good draw this turn. His Oath of Gideon, which makes 2 allies, 2 more creatures that are going to get pumped by Munda's Vanguard permanently. So that was a pair of 2/2s.
So, what did you say that Costa needed? 12 and 3 to get to where he wanted as far as silver?
Yeah.
We've seen him twice on camera now, and his deck looks great.
Yeah.
Double Munda's Vanguard just takes over every game. And even with, I think, a really nice little draw here from BBD. I mean, nothing, you know, I was talking to a player earlier today, and their opponent played Drana into Kalitas.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
BBD didn't quite do that, but he's
Okay.
had a nice little curve here.
Right.
And I don't think it's going to matter. I think the Vanguard is probably just going to put Costa ahead so far that next turn, most likely, he can send in a big force and take care of business here. Matt's doing math right now because he may want to start getting the attacks on now.
There is certainly a point at which BBD starts to think about, maybe I can get in a couple of points flying, a couple of life loss points off the Zillaport Chain Mage, maybe a tap to get in another couple of points flying. That's 6. That's half of the 11, just over. Yeah, Costa doesn't have forever to wait.
That's true. I don't think he'll wait forever either.
No.
He's just going to be able to take over. And Costa's just going to pass the turn. I mean, look, he doesn't need to do anything. His opponent does, right?
Yeah, I recommend like Planar Outburst or Quarantine Field. I don't think my recommendation is going to tie in with BBD's deck list particularly.
I'm sure he appreciates the recommendation.
Yeah. If I were you, I'd cast this.
All right, so BBD looks like he's going to force the issue here with his Spawnbinder Mage and make Costa tap down now. Though, honestly, I don't know that it matters that much.
2 cards in hand for BraunDuin.
Is one of them Planar Outburst? Because...
No.
No?
No, it isn't.
All right.
Can exclusively confirm. Using my powers of reading.
One of your great skills.
It is. It is. BBD in a world of trouble, and it comes courtesy of Munda's Vanguard. That red flag is a piece of art that we're going to see a lot of in this format because Vanguard is very good and lives in an archetype that is very good. I mean, the board state that we're looking at for Matt Costa, here's the difference. Matt Costa's side of the board looks like a draft deck, and BBD's looks like a sealed deck.
Looks like a really sweet draft deck, too.
Yeah.
So Kozilek's Pathfinder for BBD is his attempt to keep any attacks from coming in. Uh-oh, Spark Mage's Gambit there for Costa. Now he's going to have to run some numbers here, but he may be able to force some really serious action here by making the Kozilek's Pathfinder and something not be able to block and tell him to turn and then rumbling for a bunch. Costa has to explore the opportunity to one-shot BBD. BBD is tapped out at this point. And Costa may be able to set up a turn where he can actually attack for lethal, but he has to do the math. Which I am quite happy to let him do.
Yeah. Which in fact, and I'm only 83.2% certain about this. I believe that math was Costa's major at college.
Is that right?
I believe he is a math major, yeah.
Boston? He went to school in Boston, right? I think he still lives out there.
Boston ice hockey team.
The Bruins?
The Boston BraunDuins?
Oh, God. Thought you were asking a real question.
Come on, it's me.
I know. I feel silly saying that. All right, let's see what the end result on the math is here for Costa. Yep, those are numbers being counted. Again, he has perfect information here. The only thing that he doesn't know is what Spawnbinder Mage may tap down. Also, keep in mind that he can, in fact, attack with that free runner that has Visions of Brutality on it.
Yeah.
You can get in there. He's not dying this turn to that. All right, yeah, he is going for it. Looks
Yeah.
like Spark Mage's Gambit here.
Thing is, Spawnbinder Mage in this sort of situation can't afford to tap something down because it needs to block, and the thing that it would otherwise be cohorting also needs to be blocking.
Yeah, he's going to let him get away with it a little bit here by making it not be able to block, and BBD could probably just generate some value by tapping. But this is if BBD wants to tap something down, he only gets one blocker,
right?
And that I'm assuming would be lethal with a Mundus Vanguard activation and an attack with everything else.
Yes,
pretty easily lethal.
Yeah, this is a pretty terrible hole for BBD.
Yeah, so if BBD does tap something down and just leave him with one blocker back, he just dies. So he's not going to do that. And now we have Costa lining up. All right, what happens if I attack with that? Just everything. Just see if that's lethal. And it looks like he's decided that is, in fact, lethal. So everybody's just going to come in.
And as long as he can count.
So there's a block, and there's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's another 10. So 20 damage.
That's more than 14.
Yeah, that's 20, let's see, minus the 4, 16. So yeah, that should be game. Awkward spot here for BBD, and he does the math.
Yep.
Extends the old hand there, Rich.
Yep. That is done. So we know that Shuhei Nakamura took out Tyler Blum, and we know that BBD has been defeated by Matt Costa. Shaun McLaren is now done in his match. We'll attempt to find out what happened there for you in a little bit. But meanwhile, we had a chance to press a little red button that we call record on Sam Black against James Chan. So why don't we take a quick look at Sammy B. I'm now officially the first person to ever call him
Never
Sammy
heard him
B.
called that, yeah.
Against JC, James Chan. All right, let's do this thing. Turbo time here at the end of round 5. And we begin with a Prophet of Distortion from James Chan. Planes from Sam Black. It's turn 2, and it's an attack for 1. Black to 19. He adds an island and an on-do War Cleric. Turn 3 for James Chan. Prophet of Distortion, that just has to pass. It won't be drawing a card. It won't be blocking. It won't be doing anything. McKinley Patrol comes down, so it's a Vigilant on-do War Cleric. Chan
James,
gets
you're going to have
4.
to cast something here, buddy.
He's going to draw a card. It's all fine.
He doesn't have colorless.
Sam goes Saddleback Lagak. Up the McKinley Patrol, up the on-do War Cleric. You've got a Prophet of Distortion. This game would have been over very quickly if it wasn't turbo. Because this is super bad news for Chan right now.
Chan has to do something. He spent a total of 1 mana this whole game.
That looks like a 1/5 crab coming up.
Sam spent 9.
Okay, 5. Jawara Avenger, full price.
All right,
do you want to trade my 3/3 for something? Another on-do War Cleric. Attack. It's Vigilant. Offer up the trade for the 3/1. Take a pile of damage. Sam passes. At least that's something for James Chan. His one creature has been upgraded from Prophet of Distortion into a Jawara Avenger. This time it's the crab.
That's nice.
And he passes. Back
He may be stabilized here.
Another McKinley Patrol.
Sam can still jam with the 2 middle creatures, which is what he's going to do. It's basically offering to trade the War Cleric.
But no.
Dazzling Reflection?
Yeah.
Did not think we were going to see that.
Well,
I'll say that.
I thought it was probably terrible, but various people have said, no, it's not awful. It's merely not tremendous. And in Sealed, sometimes you have to play not tremendous.
I have it a little below not tremendous still.
Yeah,
to be fair.
But
you're right.
Where were
have
you?
to
Like a C- or something on that card?
No, I was lower than that. I was in the D range.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a card that you usually don't play. It's way too conditional. It doesn't help you win, right? Like if you're ahead and trying to finish off, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. But hey, it was effectively a removal spell in that situation for James Chan. So it does have situations where it's quite good. That does pop up.
So here's an old favorite out of Battle for Zendikar. It's Bane of Barlaged, 7/5. And that is another powerhouse from Battle for Zendikar.
Uh-oh.
It is Tajuru Warcaller, and Sam's army of allies just got huge. I'm going to make my core Sky Climber fly. So that is really setting up very bad trades for James Chan. Jawara Avenger and Shadow Glider will be vanishing in a hail of fiery death. Well, not fiery death, flying death, flappy death.
Flappy death.
Flappy death. There we go.
Yeah, could James start attacking with Bane of Ball again? That's the question he's asking himself right now. Sam has plenty of lands to sacrifice to it, so
He surely
may
can't.
have to leave back the 5 toughness blocker here, but he really wants to start attacking if he can at all. He just needs blockers.
He
Hello.
has a Moonder's Vanguard.
Who doesn't?
BraunDuin.
It's true.
Had to think about that a moment. But
Costa got his.
we're at the back end of round 5, by the way, here at Grand Prix Vancouver, coming right up at the end of this turbo match. Brian David Marshall will be back with us to talk this time about Mexico City, our neighbors to the south. Actually, they're not technically, because we're in Vancouver. There's a whole country in between now. But down we will head to the world of Mexico City with BDM. Just a little bit, plenty more to bring you. And after round 6, you'll hear all about day 1 in Nagoya. Plenty of great names and great players.
James Chan
going
has
at it there.
completely turned this game.
Yeah.
Sam made an attack that I think was going to be for lethal. He played a combat trick, but it got negated. And everything else died. And now all of a sudden, Bane of Balaget is turning sideways. And while there's no ally for poor Munda's Vanguard, I don't think James cares that much. I think he just rumbles here again. Because this is the attack that really starts crimping things for Sam Black.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's
Ondu
Rising. Wow.
Well done, James Chan.
James Chan.
And let's
Holy crap, that was a nice comeback.
negate.
Yeah.
This is game 1.
Dazzling Reflection.
That's interesting.
Yep.
But negate was a game 1 play.
You know, I think that Costa's got a main deck negate too. I know he's not in this match, but we watched him a little earlier.
Are you a fan of that?
Yeah.
Like,
I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but I definitely do it in sealed. I think in sealed
okay,
it's perfectly fine to main deck a negate. Yeah.
Fine. All right. I love my counter magic, but I'm
No, you get the green light from me.
reluctant to do
You
that.
can main deck a negate in sealed, no problem. And
Thank
Costa
you.
is running one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, if Matt Costa and Marshall Sutcliffe
Hey.
say I'm allowed to run negate,
Yeah.
I am there.
There you go.
When's the sealed start? This
Go
evening?
nuts. No, you're not playing sealed tonight.
No?
No.
Oh, of course, because I'm drafting on Magic Online.
Nope, you're sleeping.
Oh. You're no fun.
We're going to be here late.
You are no fun at all. Cloud Manta and Kozilek Sentinels
Hey,
on Sam
Prophet
Black's
of
turn the
Distortion
board.
that he can activate now. I like this.
There we go.
Wow, this is already looking pretty decent for Chan, assuming he can find a way to kill that Manta.
Mm-hmm.
Assuming he activated Prophet there. He didn't tap his mana, but I saw him draw and then draw. So
Once again, Grand Prix players, that is time in round 5.
Just let you know that time has been called in the main event in round 5.
what does that mean for us?
Well, we're going to carry on with this match right here. Then BDM's going to be along to chat about Mexico City. We're going to go to sealed decks. We're going to start showing you what a ton of players built during the day, some of the best players in the room. I think BBD actually is amongst the group there. So you might get a chance to see that build, and lots of great names building there. Some Save Our Seals. We've got some trial-winning decks, people who were in the trenches with sealed decks that got the business done. Let's do a quad block here, shall we? On your Dread Defiler, your 6/8. I really want that dead.
By the way, James Chan just got value from negate again. Oblivion Strike was the play from Black, and he just snapped it off.
Yeah, you've convinced me. Super good.
And Chan does, in fact, complete a 2-for-1 there that he didn't really want to, but he activated Munda's Vanguard.
Just to fit you in, Shaun McLaren did win his match in the end.
Wow, look at these turns from Chan. Man, when Chan turns the corner, he really turns it
hard.
hard. Yeah, I mean, look at that turn. That was insane. Reflector Mage into Dwarl Avenger, just bang, bang. That
I mean, that's good on the Munda's Vanguard, the containment membrane.
Gotta
That's-
be good.
I mean, that's tremendous news for Sam, but this is kind of, basically at parity again. And now here's Nguyen Da Royal Shaper. Sam brings out a 3-3 flyer of his own.
That's quite nice because now he actually can start attacking in the air here.
Yeah, James has got a lot of reactive stuff going on here. He's got the Dazzling Reflection again. Looks like he's got Royal's Retribution in hand as well. And now that he's got Nguyen Da
This is a
going
sweet
on,
attack from James. I like this a lot.
things are about to happen.
There it is again.
Dazzling Reflection. Here's my counters going on.
That's from Noyendar.
Yeah.
You know, you can also see that there's a upside when you've got Noyendar to just running instants and sorcery. So, Dazzling Reflection, maybe that pushes it over the line for him. Sam Black has drawn a heck of a lot of lands, too. Feels like James needs to just piece together how he wants to finish off this game, but he's put himself in a fantastic position. He's playing Make a Stand. Man, James is all about the high variance cards here, but it's going to do serious work.
+1/+0, indestructible, 3 mana. That's game, set, and match. So thank you very much to Marshall Sutcliffe, who's been with us throughout round 5. And we have Tyler Blum. He lost to Shuhei Nakamura in our main feature match. We had Matt Costa defeating BraunDuin by 2-1 in the end. Munda's Vanguard got the job done. You've just seen James Chan defeat Sam Black. And we got a little sneak view of Shaun McLaren's match against Steve Riecken, and in the end it was McLaren who won that. That rounds out the feature match action here at Grand Prix Vancouver.